This is where she'll...
It went out. It was.
So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. I'm down here at my mom's place this evening, and I had to haul a load of brush up to my place. I dumped it in the burn pit. All that stuff you saw in the dump trailer, it came from a bunch of shrubs that she had around her house that were getting real big. Levi and I cut those out, I think last fall. We just threw them over the hill, but she wanted rid of them, so I got rid of them. But anyway, before we get started on what we're going to do here this evening, I got to tell you a story. Melissa and I feel at home in West Virginia. If you saw that video the other day, Melissa and I, we purchased 40 acres of property in Preston County, West Virginia, and we quickly discovered that a lot of people down there watch our channel. Between the comments, emails, even text messages from people that I know. I got an email today from a guy. He works and lives in that area, and I actually used to work with his dad. His dad used to be my bulk truck driver when I was a blaster on some jobs down that way. He goes by Buffalo. Super nice guy. We got invited to a pig roast, a 4th of July party. We had people comment on the videos that live just down the road from where we bought the property. So that's really cool. So what we figured out was, I think there's more people in that area that watch our channel than people where we live. And that's really saying something, because down there it's a lot less populated than it is here. So that's pretty cool. We're looking forward to getting back down there probably maybe even later this week. The first thing we'll be doing is figuring out where we're going to get a road into the property. We're not going to cut a lot of trees or anything like that. We're going to kind of snake back through there and get back into the center of the property. This year will just be probably some tent living down there on the weekends. We may even get a camper. We'll build a cabin. We'll do some deer hunting down there. There'll be a lot going on down there the next couple years, but it'll just be slow and steady. We'll plug away at it and get it the way we want. So what we're going to do here this evening, we've got all this stuff along the driveway, and it creeps out into the driveway. I think this is, I always forget, autumn olive. I think that's what they call this. And I've trimmed this back literally every year, and a lot of times if you're running the weed eater, you can just cut it right off a little bit and it just comes right back. So we're going to bring the excavator down here and literally just rip all this stuff out of here. And over there on the other side of the driveway, there's a spot. I think I can pile it all up in there. You won't even see it, and just let it rot away. But we're gonna get rid of this stuff, roots and all. I actually had a heck of a time when I backed my trailer up here the first time. You know, the truck's getting into it. It just keeps creeping in, creeping in. So last night when I was down here, I started to rip out some of that invasive stuff along the driveway, and it wasn't going real well because I had the 30-inch bucket on the excavator. Now I like the 30-inch when I'm digging or grading, things like that, but when you really want to pinch something, this 18 is set up really well for the thumb to kind of grab a hold of that stuff and rip it out of the ground. The 30-inch, that thumb goes between the teeth and it's just a little bit more difficult. So I brought this bucket down with the skid loader, which I'm going to need here in a little bit anyway, and this should definitely speed things up. All right, I got this left side here cleaned up pretty well. Now this will all grow back in weeds real quick, but at least I'll be able to mow it. I kind of skinned it off a little bit with the skid loader after I pulled all that out of there. Now this right side over here, a bunch of this could come down as well. I'm gonna wait and see if she wants me to continue on or what she wants. She wants it cleaned up a little bit, but I don't think she wants it looking like a highway either, so we'll see what she says. So the first part of this video was from yesterday, and actually a little bit from the day before that as well, down there working on my mom's driveway. And it never fails. Every time I do that, we get a big downpour as soon as I'm done. In this case, we've had 4 or 5 in the last 24 hours. So along with all that rain, we had a whole bunch of wind. If you saw that last video, you know, Melissa found a bunch of big oaks that were blown down by the pond, which is way down that way. Well, today she told me out by the mini cabin, there's a couple of cherry trees and a maple tree blown down. So we're gonna go check that out right now. These should be very easy to get to. It's all flat out across here. But boy, the woods are really nice right after a good rain. She said they weren't too far from the mini cabin. I don't see them yet. By the way, here's some of those white pine that Levi planted. He planted about 100 through here. Down in that area over there, about 50-75 yards, we did have some ash trees. Matter of fact, there's one right there. They're all dead. So we kind of filled this in with some white pine. By the way, the stain on the mini cabin's still looking pretty good. Still looks nice. I still don't see any trees down. Oh, there, I'm starting to see some action over here to the right. Got this one right here. It's not all the way down. But it looks pretty similar to that one that I pushed over the other day with the excavator. Look at that. Look at that twist and split. Looks like it's in the same condition as that one that I pushed over. You can see it's kind of rotted down here at the base. And over here's another cherry tree. Same thing. I don't know what is doing that to those cherry trees. The bottom's rotting out of them. The rest of the tree, still green, still alive, and they're just blowing over. Took a little maple down. There are some nice cherries out here. I'll probably be better off just taking them down before they get to this point. This is weird. Look at that. Same thing as those other ones. I don't know what the scientific term is. I call it red rot, is what I call it. That is crazy. Yeah, looking at this, it wouldn't take much wind at all to take this tree down. Huh. And usually, from right about here up, it'll be good solid wood. I'm gonna head back to the house, and we're gonna get with Melissa. We got a funny story to share with you before we wrap this video up. So I just came back from the woods, and you were right, more trees down out there, but tell them what you want to tell them, Melissa.
Well, one, I didn't doubt that I was wrong.
Tell them the story.
Yesterday, our power went out.
This is where she'll...
It went out. It was, you know, you're like,
We had
oh,
another
great.
storm and the
So
power
everyone
went out.
checks their phones, like, okay, I have half a battery. Eva's like, I'm gonna have to go charge mine in the Jeep, you know. I'm like, well, we should have been better prepared, you know, be prepared. And Mike goes,
I'm all ready to like get the
generator.
generator, and it's only been out for 5 minutes. Go ahead.
tell them what you said.
And I said, this is a big one here. And she says, what do you mean? And I said, normally when the power goes out around here, you know, it'll just flicker a little bit and it'll go out. Well, the storm was pretty much over. All the winds died down, and it's like a half hour later, and it just was out. And I said, this is going to be a long outage. And she's like, I go, I'm serious. She goes, why? I go, because it just went boom. And as soon as I said boom, the lights came back on. But I was like getting the generator ready, you know, starting to hook stuff up to the freezer, and it was out for 5 minutes. So we didn't have to go into full prepper mode, but
He knew.
I was convinced we were out for days. It was 5 minutes.
That was fine.
Yeah. We do have a lot of power outages around here, but
We do.
Knock on wood, the last year or so hasn't been as bad for a
And
while.
my parents, everybody where my parents live like 10, 12 miles from here, and their power's out a lot too.
I know.
In fact, they called today and said their power's out.
I would like to get a, we have generators, 2 of them, but I would like to get a regular backup generator, like a big diesel powered one.
Right,
You
right.
know? Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I think that's a good idea.
Anything else you'd like to talk about? This video has been all over the place. I started down at my mom's place, fixing up her driveway, getting rid of that brush pile the other night, a little
Yeah.
hike in the woods, but I think that's about it, huh?
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you. Your comments that we read, they're so kind. You're here, you're watching, you're a part of Outdoors with the Morgans, and I just want to say thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It makes me understand that Mike's not crazy by taking his cameras and heading off and doing his projects and videoing them and sharing them all with you, and we really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone that's ordering hats and shirts. Thanks so much. You can go to the website and click store and
Yeah,
shop.
I'll put a link in the description and I'll pin a comment as well.
But in all honesty, we just really appreciate it. We do feel like a lot of you have been here since the beginning, and the ones that just recently jumped
on board
on,
here.
We appreciate it. Thanks for being here. So we'll see you on the next one.